Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor coming at you with another Bitcoin episode. And today I want to go ahead and talk about Bitcoin price action. We're going to talk about the options for Bitcoin as well as some key indicators that I want to bring up. If you guys are interested in this content, please support me by sharing and liking and commenting. I always appreciate that and try to take a look at all the comments and everything. And I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So, Bitcoin has been falling the past couple of days. It's stabilized, but we saw it come back down here to the edge of the support band, which is at about $91,000 or so. This support band goes from about 91K to about 94 to about 95, and it's been a strong support region for Bitcoin since November, when it had the huge explosive rise after the election. So this support band right now is incredibly critical. If it loses support here, it's going to head back down to the 80s. And if it holds support here, I think it's very likely that we'll go and revisit 100K. So pay attention to this kind of support region right here. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about the Bitcoin options. So Bitcoin options, we have a large expiry on the 17th of January, which is on Friday. This is about $2 billion worth of options. It's almost kind of an equal spread between your calls and puts right now, which is very surprising. Most of the time we wind up seeing more call options than put options, but for some reason on Friday, we're actually going to wind up seeing almost an even split. Max pain price sitting at about $96,000 for that day. And given the fact the price is at about 95K right now, this is probably the most bullish that I've seen with these traders in some time, even if it is just a max pain price sitting at about 1,000 or so higher than the current price. Now, as a reminder, max pain theory is the idea that the price will gravitate towards the area in which there are the most number of losses for the options holders. So this would indicate that we're heading towards 96K by the end of the week. Very, 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 very interesting. There's also large expiries at the end of the month, of course, but usually I'll go over those as we get closer to the end of the month. And we have an even larger amount of expiries that are going to be set for the 28th of March. This is almost $8 billion worth of options set to expire, mostly call options. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through the liquidation heat map here real quick. So the 1 week Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see that we have a large amount of liquidity sitting at about 98,900. Not a huge surprise when you consider the fact that this is a key level of resistance right here. So if Bitcoin can hold that support level that we talked about, it can hold the 90s, then I do think that it's possible that we get a breakout, and as soon as we get closer and closer to that 100K region, it's very possible we get a large amount of short liquidations happening as it approaches 99,000. Now, on the other side, there's not really a huge amount of liquidity on the downside, but there is some here at about 93K. Something to watch out for. If 93K breaks again, then we could wind up seeing it revisit back down to 90 or 91,000 at the low end of that Bitcoin support channel that I drew out. The next thing I want to talk about is the estimated leverage ratio, which is something new that I've been looking at. And this leverage ratio gives you an idea of how leveraged overall the futures market is with Bitcoin. And it's hit a level that we haven't seen since back in December 28th of 2022. So what that means is that the leverage has been increasing, and in fact, over the last couple of months, it's gone up dramatically. In fact, if you look at just the 1 month, you can see here that we have a large increase over the previous month. So what this means for the market is that there is more volatility coming for the Bitcoin market. This leverage can happen on both sides. It can happen to the upside and to the downside, bullish leverage or bearish leverage. So just keep that in mind. I think that this current rise right now is more due to bullish activity than bearish activity, but just know that as this increases, you could always see more volatility, and I do expect that we'll see more volatility than we've seen in the past couple of years. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about Bitcoin monthly returns because this is important to kind of put Bitcoin seasonality more into focus. January traditionally for Bitcoin has been kind of a mediocre month. The average gain is only 3%. The median is barely 0.62%. And so far for January, we're not even sitting at 1.6% gains. However, February is the month to pay attention to in which you see 15% gains for February on average and for the median as well. This is one of Bitcoin's best months in its history, and usually this month is green, so that's something to keep in mind. We have to kind of weather the storm in January in order to get the gains in February, and this is something I'll touch upon more as we get closer and closer to February. Our Z-score, which gives us an idea of Bitcoin's undervalued or overvalued, sits at about 2.5. It's actually about 2.4. Zoom in a little bit here, and we can see it's at about 2.5, rising slightly from where it was a couple of days ago. And so this gives us an idea of whether or not Bitcoin is overvalued or undervalued. Traditionally, during a bull market tops, you tend to see it go to a level that's about 6 or 7 or so, and we're still sitting at about 2.5. So we still have plenty of room left to run in the Bitcoin bull market. Our fear and greed index is sitting at about 62, which is in between neutral and greed. I think that's pretty accurate given the fact that over the past couple of weeks, it seems like the sentiment has been shifting more towards the negative, and I really wouldn't be surprised if, in fact, we're more towards neutral currently. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the exchange reserve. So again, exchange reserve gives us an idea of how many Bitcoin are on exchanges, and it continues to fall and fall and fall. Over the last week, we've seen a large decrease. Over the last month, an even more pronounced decrease, and there just is no stopping this fall of Bitcoin that's moving from exchanges to wallets, showing that there's continued demand for Bitcoin. That's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are feeling bullish or if you're feeling kind of bearish. And personally, I have been mostly neutral. We've been heading sideways for a while, but I think that good things are coming and they're going to be in store in February as long as we can get past January 1st. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the next video.